Well, Black and White Network, it's been what, roughly a month since Joe Biden dropped out and Kamala Harris was actually installed by the Democrats. Remember, nobody voted for Kamala Harris, but the Democrats installed her. They undermined their own voters. Now, folks, I truly do believe if the Democrats actually had a primary, Kamala Harris would not be their nominee. Guys, if you thought that Joe Biden was bad, Kamala Harris is just as bad, if not worse. Kamala Harris has not given one single interview. Because, guys, when she actually speaks, she is just word salad. Remember, Lester Holt asked her about the border. She started talking about, well, I've never been to Europe either, and started cackling because they actually called her out and said, hey, why haven't you been to the border? You're in charge of the border. And she says, we've been to the border. Then he responds back and says, you haven't been to the border. And then she says, I haven't been to Europe either. Yeah. Now, Stephen A. Smith actually called out Kamala Harris for not doing interviews. Now, Trump has actually been calling her out, trying to put the heat on the mainstream media to actually make her talk. Because when Kamala Harris talks, her poll numbers will drop. She's running. She's scared. She doesn't have any policy positions, okay? Now, Stephen A., he says that he's a moderate, but really, Stephen A. is just a Democrat, man. He's one of these guys that's going to vote blue no matter who. Even in this clip, guys, we're going to be reacting to, he even says, you got my vote. Why he's actually destroying Kamala Harris. Okay, Stephen A., why are you actually voting for Kamala Harris when she's actually a part of the Joe Biden administration and she signed off on everything he did? But Stephen A. was saying, yeah, we need a new president. That's what he said. He didn't like Joe Biden. But he's willing to back Kamala Harris, who endorses the same policies. And I believe it has all to do with identity, guys, because he even calls Kamala Harris my sister. Yeah. Let's get into this, guys. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member live stream every single Friday. Almost forgot the day, guys. Every single Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching on Rumble, click the join button to get access to the same thing. And everyone can also support us by becoming a member on blackandwhitenetwork.com or supporting us on Locals. Both for just $5 per month. Check the link in the description. So here we go. Right here. Clay Travis, who I like, posted this. Says, credit to Stephen A. Smith for calling out Kamala over her refusal to talk to anyone in the media for 24 days. Amazing how few are even willing to point this out. They're clearly hiding her because they're terrified of what she might say. Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm not giving Stephen A. credit because he just confirmed pretty much in his clip that Kamala didn't have to speak because she has his vote already. Well, if she actually had your vote, why does she actually need to speak? Yeah, vote blue no matter who. Let's listen in.
Now, Joe Biden stepped aside as the presumptive Democratic nominee on July 21st. Okay? Now, I'm going to look at this right now. I'm looking at my calendar because I just want to make sure. July 21st was a Sunday. We've had 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 1 day since Joe Biden stepped aside. The only damn place we've seen Kamala Harris is at pep rallies. What's up? Somebody got to say something.
And at those rallies, she's repeating the same thing. She's not original, guys.
They can't just be the conservatives. Right is right. I'm talking to my sister here. Come on now. You running for the presidency of the United States of America. You got my vote.
You heard that? He says, you got my vote. If that's the case, Stephen A., why does she actually need to speak? Because she got your vote already. You don't even know what she's actually standing for. And we all know, man, she's to the left of Biden. That's not good.
You running for the presidency of the United States of America. What you hiding for? And I mean hiding in plain sight. Somebody got to say it. Somebody got to say it. Now, you can't be running for the presidency of the United States. Not one single press conference, not one single one-on-one sit-down interview where somebody gets to question you about the questions that we ask. That's not fair. That's not fair. And if you're a conservative and you out there lambasting her for it, ridiculing her for it, trying to torment her for it or whatever, it is perfectly within your right to do so. All of you anti-conservatives out there, shut the hell up. That's a valid point. It ain't valid to bring up a blackness or an Indian heritage and to try to point to things of that nature.
Actually, you know what? It's actually the left. The mainstream media is bringing up her race because that's what she's running on. She's not running on policy. When Trump actually talked about a race, that's because the left stream media brought it up.
That's nonsense. But to ask her about her record, because she is attached to the Biden record, is definitely apropos, especially when you were bragging about the record. We talked about Biden being a transformative president. Well, stand on it then. Stand on it. Where you at?
Yeah, so you guys heard that right there, man. Stephen A. calling out Kamala Harris, rightly so, okay? But you said she got your vote. So in other words, she doesn't have to say anything again. Anything. Stephen A. Smith is going to vote for her. And I believe that's the problem, man, with Democrats. Democrats don't even want to hold her accountable for the lack of interviews. Apparently, she's actually surging in the polls, but even Democrat voters don't actually know what they're voting for. Yeah. I mean, I believe that the polls are really manufactured because they were way off in 2016. They were way off in 2020. I mean, at this point, guys, Kamala Harris is supposed to be up, according to these polls here, by like what? Point and a half, 2 points on Trump. But if you actually look back at 2016, Hillary is up by something like what? 7 points. And she lost. Joe Biden was up by like 8 points. And the results said he wasn't even close to 8 points. It was more like 4. They're oversampling Democrats, guys. So in reality, if Kamala Harris is up by 2, that means Trump is probably up by 5. Okay? But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.